All right. Welcome to our virtual meeting on the Arbors. I'm Deborah Rose. I'm the city manager here at the City of Lake Forest. So I appreciate people making the time to come to our virtual meeting. So we're going to start by, I'm going to give some background about the Arbors, how they came about, and then I will transition over to our engineering services manager, Doug Erdman, who'll go through a PowerPoint to show some potential plans for renovating the Arbors. So I'm going to start back when I joined the city in 2000. So those of you who have lived here for a while will remember El Toro Road used to be very trafficy and was a bone of contention for the community. A lot of people in the community really wanted to see the traffic flow improve. It was known as one of the most congested streets in all of Orange County. And there were some closed businesses at the corner of El Toro and Rockfield. There was a closed Kmart, and there were some older retail centers. And so the city got together and in 2006 did a major project to renovate the public spaces in the area, hoping that that would motivate landowners to redo the shopping centers. And that's actually what ended up happening. So the city's project was about a $30 million project that added new lanes to El Toro Road. It widened the intersection at El Toro and Rockfield. And it also added landscape medians, and it named the area the Arbor. And the reason why we did that was to try to give a sense of a downtown for Lake Forest, and also to signify that that was a shopping area. So that's where the name of the Arbor came about. And it was also to harken back to the city's agricultural history. And so as part of that, the city bought up some properties in order to make that, to make El Toro Road wider. And so there used to be 3 gas stations along the corner of El Toro and Rockfield. And so where those gas stations were, you now see the Arbors. And the Arbors were put in to be a main entryway into the city to signify you were entering this new area. And it was also meant to be decorative, so to kind of frame your view as you're traveling up El Toro Road. And so those went in about 2006. And for years, we maintained them, we replanted the plants, and it was very nice, but we never did any programming there. And at some point in time, we had thought maybe we'd do some craft fairs or things like that, but we never actually did. And so it was really just meant as a sidewalk where people could, you know, kind of cut the corner there and walk through that arbor covered area. And then starting in about 2018, we started to get concerns from residents that we were having people congregate there. And so it became a real source of frustration for some residents who started to see people they perceived as homeless, and probably were homeless, that were starting to really spend a lot of time there and kind of claim that area for their own. So with that, I will turn it over to our engineering services manager, Doug Erdman.
Hi, my name is Doug Erdman. I'm the engineering services manager here at the City of Lake Forest, and let me go ahead and share my PowerPoint for this with you. Lake Forest Arbor Gateway. The Arbor Gateway is located just off the 5 freeway at the corner of El Toro and Rockfield Boulevard. Currently, the Arbor is designed with large turf areas and concrete walkways, along with large trellis structures to give and brick walls to give the entry monument some vertical scale. It's designed as really as an entry monument coming into the city, like Deborah was saying. The current design has some underutilized elements that could be used as potential benefit for local businesses, and that was part of the concept behind putting out this website and the survey that we recently advertised on social media. The survey we put out, here are some of the results as of today. The city shared this survey through Nextdoor, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook throughout the week, and to ensure residents were able to take the survey and provide the city with their thoughts and feedback. Through the Facebook posts, over 1,700 people at least clicked through the link. And you can see from this map, the geographic distribution of the respondents comes from all over the city, not just the area around the Arbors. The people that actually visited the website that we had set up, there were 494 visits. We had 408 people complete the survey, and additional comments were provided by 53 people. Of the survey results, many people are very familiar with the Arbors. There were 2 people who had said they had never seen the project. Everyone has at least driven by it or walked through it. One of the new design elements we had was to limit access by removing some of the sidewalks to put in additional planting material. And we had an overwhelming response that this is a good idea that people believed in. And that the additional space on the side of Brew, Grill, and Market in Lucille's, which has a large turf area in the back, could be used for outdoor dining. So people seem to be in very supportive of that. The design also includes drought-tolerant California type landscape planting that would replace many of the concrete areas and some of the turf areas, which would be water saving. And again, people were in, significant support of that issue. One thing that people were also in support of was maintaining the arbor structures, the vertical element, which provided an identity to the area that had a very strong support. One of the other things that we had a lot of support on was removing the pedestrian access through this area. A lot of people said that either the corner doesn't receive enough pedestrian traffic to warrant the access, or that it's just not needed because there are accesses into the shopping centers in close proximity to the arbors. So this is the new concept design that we're discussing. The dark green areas here are areas where we would be removing existing sidewalk and replacing with the new California-friendly landscaping. This back area here is where there's existing turf that would be removed, and we'd put decomposed granite to where the area could be used for potentially for the adjacent restaurants as a dining area. Same thing on the Home Depot side. The dark green is where there's existing concrete that would be removed. This blue dashed line is where the area would be fenced in. So the reduction of the impervious surfaces, the concrete walkway, the removal of the green areas. With this is a rendering showing how it would look with the new drought-tolerant landscaping. In addition, would be providing security fencing along portions of it. You can see the security fencing as rendered here in this rendering. And again, the reduced turf areas could be utilized as the businesses for an outdoor dining experience. So with the next steps in the Arbors process, we have the website survey still up until June 19th. We want to make sure that the public has plenty of time to respond and provide the input that we can eventually present the results to City Council. And then we would move forward with contracting for a final design that would change the arbors to the proposed renderings that we've shown today. We anticipate the final design and bidding the project for construction would take approximately 2 to 3 months. And then the City Council would award a contract for the construction. And we anticipate construction would take approximately 2 to 3 months. And at that point, that completes my presentation, and we are open for any questions there may be.
Or any comments.
Or any comments.
So we had a question from Lisa. Her question is, with the security fencing, where are the entrances?
The entrances would be located here at the stairs. And I believe for this one, it would be located here at the, on the Home Depot side where the parking lot meets the back entrance. And mainly for the Home Depot side, that would be used as a maintenance access for maintaining the area inside the fencing. For the area where on the Brew and Lucille side, the fencing would be for access to the decomposed granite for where Brew and Lucille's could possibly use it as outdoor seating. If that does come into fruition, we might need to include some additional access points because it would become a public space that would need additional access points for potential emergency exits.
But I think with this design, there would no longer be that opportunity to go from the sidewalk straight into those shopping centers through the gated area. Correct?
No,
the controlled entry.
The intent is to restrict access through each corner to where you would enter from one of the entry points in the shopping center, not come through the Arbors corners.
And then just to clarify, the dark green on this, where your cursor is exactly,
Yes.
that would be removed?
Yes, this is all concrete right now. And let me go back to one of the first pictures. You can see this is that area on the Home Depot side. And this is that area on the Bruce side that we're in green. All this concrete area would be removed and replaced with landscaping. Same thing here, all this concrete area. The posts and the planters would remain, but all of the flat concrete work would be removed and replaced with landscaping. So that would be like this rendering. This is where all that concrete was in the previous photo.
Okay, do we have any additional questions?
There is a follow-up question from Lisa. So there's really no place to, quote, hang out, just more of a visual and gateway entry, possible dining area for Brew and Lucille's?
Yes, that's correct. So there'd be that very front part that would be, you know, open, that little corner right there, and the rest would be behind the fence. And Doug, at this point, do we know what type of landscaping would go in those front corners?
Other than it being a California-friendly type, drought-tolerant landscaping, the landscape architects really haven't specified yet, but they definitely said they wanted to put something. Hang on, I have their actual response that they told me, so give me just a second. The water-efficient plant materials will be selected and incorporated into the landscape design based on the requirements of the city's adopted model water-efficient landscape ordinance. The planting material will be selected based on reduced water consumption, a California-friendly plant material, maintenance efficiency, and color and form that will help reinforce a sense of place in Lake Forest.
Okay, so I interpret that to mean it's not necessarily going to be turf.
No, it's definitely
Right.
not going to be turf. We were talking about some raised shrubs, flowers, things like that.
Okay.
That fit in the drought-tolerant California-style plant material.
So most likely people wouldn't be walking over it. They'd be walking on the sidewalk, but they'd be seeing the plants and the decorative nature of the area.
Exactly.
And there is another question from, sorry if I butcher your name, but Rumi. Is lighting at night enough to discourage, quote, hanging out?
I don't believe we're changing any of the existing lighting that's out there. As part of this, we're removing the hardscape, we're removing the areas where people would hang out in the structure, and replacing that with plants and shrubs. So it wouldn't be conducive to hanging out. In addition, with the fencing, that reduces the amount of area that's available for people to hang out in.
And just to kind of give a little more information, so the genesis of this project came about from our Lake Forest Listen session that we held last October. We talked about a variety of issues, but the Arbors themselves were a big part of that meeting, and we got a lot of input from people. And what we heard was that people like the Arbor structures, they especially like the Christmas lights during the holidays or the holiday lights, and they didn't want to see that go away, but they did want to see some kind of physical change there that would change the nature of what they felt they were seeing at that current time. And so that's what led us to start this whole process. We started with just doing a basic rehab, and so that's when we put the fences up so we could start redoing some of the stone that was there, addressing some of the concrete and so forth, as we started to work on preliminary concepts for this project.
Currently, the city was spending about $1,500 a month in cleaning and maintenance items at the Arbors.
And so we were looking for a design that would cut back on that. And the way to cut back was to really remove some of that concrete that was out there that required steam cleaning and just extraordinary maintenance efforts. So Alan, are there any more questions?
Yes, there is one more. Are the gates locked at night and the area patrolled to deter homeless camping out?
Yes, so the gates would be locked, and anyone within the gates, it would be considered trespassing. So Doug, do you want to go over next steps one more time for anybody who may have
Sure.
joined us a little late?
Sure. For the next steps, we do have the Arbors website survey that's still up, and you can reach through any of the links in any of the Lake Forest social media, and I'm sure Alan will post those again along with this recorded video for anyone who had to miss it. The next steps will be to present the survey results to City Council and share not only the results, but the conceptual designs that were presented to date. Then the City Council would award a contract for final design for actually going forward with the project and renovating the Arbors. We anticipate the final design would take anywhere from 2 to 3 months to complete, including the bidding of the project for construction. We need to bring that bid back to City Council to award a construction contract. And once a construction contract is awarded, we anticipate construction would take between 2 and 3 months to complete.
All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us for our virtual planning meeting. Please tell your friends and neighbors that this survey is still up, and so we can get as much input as we can, because that's always helpful when we move forward with these types of projects. So again, thank you very much for your time.